Danny joined the group last year with about as well-scrubbed a face as one would expect from a 23-year-old with a $50,000 education loan. You've got to love the exuberance of youth. He works diligently in a low-skilled job, is unfailingly polite, and has a relentlessly earnest quality that corporate America likes to make short work of. His enthusiasm is all the more praiseworthy because Danny is a temp. One middle-aged man's cleaned-out workstation is a younger man's sterling opportunity. Just as the young can spot a half-full glass from a mile away, they can also drop some real gems. In this respect, Danny is no different from his peers. I don't know what $50,000 buys anymore, but it sure doesn't get you the word on the street. Career paths have been banned in the United States. It's right there in the NAFTA fine print beside the provision on Tijuana manufactured baseball bats. No more paths, or for our south of the border listeners, el jobo bonuso gringo. Pardon my Spanish. So it was with no small amount of shock that I found Danny approaching me after a couple of months on the job to inquire about his career path at our company. Career path, I asked?
Yes, he replied. Where can I expect to be in, say, 5 years?
Suddenly, I didn't feel like the guy who signed Danny's purchase order funding in 10-day increments. How could I tell him that only last week we had had a spirited debate about whether to cut his position to fund a new coffee machine? You know, the one that makes those piping hot cappuccinos. No, this was a young lad awash in debt asking me for fatherly advice about his future trajectory here at Fleeting Corporation, the third largest manufacturer of bowling pins on the eastern Texas Panhandle. I paused respectfully at the gravity of his question, gazing into my god-awful cup of instant coffee. Danny, I replied carefully, it's a phenomenon that occupational behaviorists and plutocrats have been aware of for years. Career paths promote a sort of idle complacency. People work more efficiently when they're scared out of their wits. 5-year planning is a privilege reserved for the filthy rich. There's a saying we use here at Fleeting. A long-term scheme belongs to the man with all the green. I continued. The average American must live every day content in the fear that his or her job could fly out the window at any moment like a spooked Mexican fruit bat. Ask any sweatshop manager will tell you. Fear is the juice that propels that last widget of output. Am I making any sense? Danny seemed flustered, but he persisted.
Mr. Jenkins, I've exceeded my pin quotient consistently over the last couple of months. My pin wobble quotient is among the best in the division. Mine don't wobble and they fall down.
Danny, I've seen your pins. They're damn good pins, son. You have the potential to make a great pinhead here at Fleeting. It's just that, well, times have changed. I decided to try another tact. What do you think of our canteen, Danny?
Huh?
He asked. The lunch food here at Fleeting, it's partially subsidized, you know. Those cold cuts don't come cheap, I can tell you.
Well, I usually bring lunch from home.
Danny, there's a factory just outside Mexico City that's beating our pants off. Their cost structure has us gasping for breath. Here, take a look. I guided him over to my office window that looked down on the plant below. Tell me, Danny, what do you see on the floor? He stammered.
Oh, well, lathes and packing machines.
Pin shavings, I replied. Those infernal plastic shavings are everywhere, aren't they, Danny?
Yes, sir, they are.
Do you know that Mexican plant presses burger patties out of those shavings and feeds them to their workers at lunch?
What?
Gasped. That's right, Danny. The resin in the plastic apparently makes their workers hell on wheels. They literally have to push them out of the factory at night. They can't get enough. I laughed. How are you feeling, Danny? Hungry?
Now I'm more scared.
Good boy, that's the Fleeting spirit. Now go out there and spin us some real knockdowners.
Nothing to slow the play. Nothing to interrupt the fun.